Hey, this is IndigoMusic.com. I'm Rohit, and today we're going to talk about a very important topic. A lot of people have this dilemma. A lot of people don't know what to do, and that is whether career growth is important or is it job satisfaction. And to talk to us more about it and give her insights and thoughts about it, I've got Shobha Rao with 22 plus years of experience, who's a people and OD at the leadership elements right now. Shobha, welcome to IndigoMusic.com. It's great to have you here with us.
Hey Rohit, very happy to be here on this stage. Yes.
Now, I want to know in this day and age where there are new opportunities coming to light every day with platforms like LinkedIn and stuff like that, do you think switching jobs often for career growth is good? And if yes, how often do you think people should do it?
Well, I would say job switch is a strategic decision, but I think should be done carefully and thoughtfully, right? Yes, switch is good, but then with a caution.
Right. I think change is the only constant, but it should be cautious change. But I want to tell you if someone is satisfied with their job, right? Should they
Hmm.
continue even if they feel that there's no more growth in a company?
Okay, I would like to put it this way. When would a person look for a job change? He should be, as I said, he has to be thoughtful. He or she should be thoughtful and careful, and it's a strategic move. It is when there is no more growth in the organization,
Hmm.
or has your personal priority changed?
Hmm.
What is it that you're looking for? Have you defined growth for yourself?
Hmm.
And if all these parameters are there, and if the current job and the situation is fitting well, and that is when someone should ideally look for a job change. That is my perspective. Having said this, yes, there are pros and cons. When
Okay.
you switch jobs, definitely yes, there is broader opportunity that you get. You learn more. You get to build better relationships. Your network and influence is going to be really high.
Hmm.
But what are the cons? I mean, have you looked at what is the time period? That becomes very, very essential. At what juncture are you looking at switching the job?
Okay.
To me, when I was looking at this data, I think 3 to 5 years is an ideal time,
Okay.
right? To stay in the organization. And any time after you complete 3 years, between the three to fifth year, would be quite a reasonable time for somebody to switch jobs. Well, many industries would accept this. IT may be a little lesser because your technology changes, your tech experts, they operate in a very different landscape and an atmosphere altogether. So I think these are the key parameters that one should consider while looking at switching a job.
Absolutely. And, spoke about how we should, change jobs from 3 to 5 years. I think that's a good time to jump. But I want to give you an example of my dad. He started working with Unilever back in 1983 and he retired in 2018. He still works with them for the various other this thing as a consultant. He's 66 years. He stuck on the job and he was satisfied with the job because obviously the company took care of their employees as well, with Unilever being one of the biggest FMCG
Right.
MNCs in the world. But according
Right.
to you, if he was living in a time like now, and if he
Mm.
jumped every 3 or 5 years, where do you think he would have landed up? Just like an assumption, maybe.
Sure. First of all, I think his service with the Unilever is a testament of his loyalty. And
Yeah.
as you said, the company, I mean, it's 50-50, right? Weight cannot be lifted by one person. It's the organization and the individual as well. And
Correct.
I think Unilever, I must say, has done a very good job of taking care of an employee and still continuing to give an opportunity to be a consultant.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. Times have changed. We are in a very different dynamic, and everything is like nothing is constant. There are always variables. Probably yes. If your dad would have changed jobs, then perspective on multiple industries would have been broader. He
Mhm.
would have probably climbed up the leadership ladder much faster.
Mm.
His network and influence in the industry would have been far, far stronger. And
Mm.
then I'm sure he would have had many more demonstrated impact goals to talk about. That's where I see it.
Now, I want to talk about, career shifting again. I want to get back to this, especially when people are applying for jobs. When an
Mm,
HR looks at your resume,
mm,
I don't know if it's a misbelief or it's true. I don't know. When they see, okay, you have moved from this company to this company within 2 years. Then again, you made a
Hmm.
shift in 2 years. Now, do they have this preconception in their mind saying that, okay, this person may not stick in this company for more than 2 years, so I'm not going to hire them? Is that something that you have come across with your experience?
Yes, I have. And as a talent person, as a recruiter, my eyebrows would definitely go high,
Yeah.
if I look at more than 4, 5, job changes that has happened. And not a notion, but then I think it's a general tendency, right? Anybody would look at it and their eyebrows would go high. But I think HR is not just human resources, but it's more about talent. And what we really look for is, what is the narrative? Do you have a clear narrative? Is there a demonstrated goals that you have done? What is your story that you're talking about? I mean, are those transitions meaningful and well thought of? I think these are certain things that a recruiter really looks for, right? And we are in a scenario, Rohit, and a secret that startups are very attractive,
Yeah.
and right, and not all startups are unicorn. They are also in the setting up stage. So therefore, the context in which you have made those transition also becomes very, very important. And therefore, I say your strong narrative, your clear purpose takes a front seat when you are looking at hiring a person with multiple job changes.
Right. And that brings me to my next question. It's a follow-up.
Sure.
I want to ask you, is there any example that you can give where you've seen this person who's jumped, way too often, they've changed their career, I mean,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
jobs, and yet
Hmm.
are successful?
There are definitely many examples that I can, but I don't want to name anybody.
Yeah.
But probably what will be helpful is maybe if I could talk about role specific, right?
Right.
So if I look at tech industry experts,
Okay.
right? Somebody who's an expert in a technology, and then there is an advancement in the technology that has happened, and therefore a current organization is not able to give him or her the scope to move further. That could be one of those cases. I also see a lot of entrepreneurs who are like done brief shifts in their career before they find their niche. Then there are a lot of these freelancers, consultants who are also trying multiple things, and then industry needs an upgradation very often, and therefore there could be a shift, right? And creative individuals, you must be knowing it in your industry as well. There is always something that is new, that is creative, that is coming up.
Correct.
And I also see a lot of corporate leaders who are also wanting to, try their hands on different things. Like, they want to start something of their own, and then they find that after 2 years, that is not something, there's a realization that happens. But then they've had exposure to wonderful business models, people structures and etc. And wanting to come back to corporate and do something great.
Yeah.
Why not?
And yeah, we were also talking about this on the show today, and we got
Hmm.
a listener who sent in a message.
Hmm.
His name is Gautam. He's in a job from 7 years plus now, and he joined as an assistant manager, and he's now a team lead in that company. He's totally happy
Okay.
about the job, but he feel like I mentioned earlier that his growth has been
Hmm.
limited as now, as he reports directly to the top management. So
Okay.
he wants to know, what should someone like that, if someone is in a situation like that, what should they do?
Okay. Hi, Gautam. Congratulations. Kudos on your 7 years journey in this particular organization. I think it takes a lot, right, to stick with the organization. And as I was mentioning it earlier, it's 50-50. It's the employee and it's the organization, and therefore they can lift the height together, they can lift the, weight together. Having said this, just to address, growth, feeling stuck, and etc., I think the first tip for him would be that, if not redefine, define success for you, define growth for you.
Mm,
What does it mean? Is it financial? Is it personal? What juncture of your life that you're in? What are your personal priorities? I think these are the four intrinsic things that he should look at,
mm,
before even looking at a change.
yeah,
Second is, I think Gautam should start building his executive presence in the organization. If he's already dealing with the top management,
yeah,
is he becoming more visible through his work, through his action? Is he able to speak up for what is right? Is he able to articulate his ideas better? That
right.
all adds up to your building an individual persona and an executive presence in the organization. And third thing would be to see that, are there any opportunities first internally in the organization for which you can influence? And look at, have you build your network to get that influence in the organization?
Absolutely. I think that's well said. You should look at all aspects instead of just thinking about whether it's going to be, just growth in this or
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
I think that's really well put, Shobha. Now, I want to ask you before I let you go. What do you say? Is it career growth or is it job satisfaction? I know you answered this before, and you said it's job satisfaction end of the day. But I want to twist the question a little bit. I want to ask you, how can one have job satisfaction and career growth at the same time?
Well, okay, the ideal stage is a balance between job satisfaction and the career growth.
Yeah.
And as I said, it's all about the personal definition that one has, right? Definitely satisfaction over anything else. But then, we all are aspirational people, and that's why we are in the corporate or in the entrepreneurial world.
Yeah.
And having said that, the one thing to look for is a continuous learning. And if you're a continuous learner, the satisfaction will automatically come, and therefore it is linked to your growth. So I would say look for it. Are you learning something new? Are you able to contribute meaningfully? If you're doing that, then I don't think so anyone should really break their head on am I satisfied or am I growing? I think it automatically happens. Are you able to contribute? Are you able to learn? And are you able to see that you have a life which is more satisfying and meaningful? At the end of the day, we all work for that. If that is there, then I think yes, rest all can be worked out.
Absolutely. Well said, Shobha. Thank you so much for taking some time out and having this wonderful conversation with me. And of course, I believe your words of wisdom would have definitely helped a lot of people listening in who have probably stuck in this juncture between job satisfaction and career growth. Once again, wishing you all the best and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, Rohit. Hope I've been some help to people, to our listeners, who have been listening into this particular podcast.